After completing their final mission, Ven returned to what was left of Imperial intelligence and turned in his resignation. After everything he had seen, everything he had done, Ven was tired. He was tired of the constant fighting and killing. He was tired of the constantly making choices that pushed his sense of moral value. Most of all, he was tired of being anyone, but himself. He gathered his crew together and informed them that he had planned to leave the service of the Empire. More than that, he told them the truth. Ven explained his true loyalties were to peace, not the Empire, and that he had often gone against the Empire's best wishes to achieve this goal. After his confession, Ven informed the group that he was exhausted of fighting for the sake of the galaxy and that he planned to step away from the power struggle between both sides. His only desire now was to keep a promise he had made to himself so long ago. He intended to find Angel, the orphan he had lost. He thanked everyone for their help and friendship and wished them well in whatever they chose to do next. Vector Hylas was surprised by Ven's admission, but affirmed his friendship. Bidding Ven safe journeys, Vector left to continue building relations between the Empire and the Killiks. Over the years, the two friends would often share holo calls with each other. Many times, Vector would seek Ven's advice when it came to the political maneuvers required to keep peace between his two people. Over the years, Vector rose in prominence and established himself as one of the most skilled and honored diplomats of the Empire. Dr. Loken showed no surprise when Ven admitted his true self. He stated that Ven's true allegiance never really mattered to him, and the fact that Ven accepted who Loken was enough to be accepted in return. However, upon hearing that Ven planned to leave the Empire, Loken decided to move his experiments to one of his old safe houses where he could continue his work undisturbed. Ven never again saw the Doctor after he left the ship. Scorpio flatly stated that Ven's decision held no interest for her and left the ship without informing anyone where she was headed or what she intended to do. Ven never found out what became of Scorpio. Surprisingly, Kaleo decided to stay by Ven's side. Outwardly, she stated that she did not care what Ven decided to do since hanging around him was always sure to bring her excitement. Inwardly, everything they had been through had changed Kaleo ever so slightly. She found for the first time in her life she was comfortable on that ship and in Ven's company. While it would be impossible to call her feelings for Ven affectionate, she did feel bonded to him and decided that she had no desire to leave. Ven feared most of all telling his truth to Temple, and he was right to be afraid. Temple could not believe what she was hearing. She had ignored all the signs of Ven's true self and blindly believed he was obedient to the Empire in all things like herself. At first, she did not accept Ven was telling the truth. In time, she came to terms with who Ven was, and they had a long talk alone. She begged Ven to come with her, to continue serving the Empire. Ven in turn asked Temple to stay with him as his wife and spend their lives together. He promised her there would be no more lies and that while he could not devote his life to the Empire, he could devote his life to her if she stayed by his side. In the end, neither could change who they were. They held each other a long time that night, and in the morning, Temple left the ship. Over the years, Ven would keep tabs on her as she rose through the ranks of the Imperial military. However, they never spoke again. And so, Ven and Kaleo began to search for Angel. Ven dealt with his pain over the loss of Temple by throwing himself into the hunt. The two of them shook down slave trader after slave trader to no avail. Years passed, and Ven was no closer to finding his Angel. Over the years, Kaleo was Ven's faithful companion, even during the boring times. They even tried a brief romantic relationship, but it did not last. Love and romance was never something Kaleo was good at. To her, sex was physical. Kaleo was unable to reconcile her physical want for Ven with her ever-growing bond with him. In the end, Kaleo broke off the relationship before it destroyed their friendship. Oddly, the entire experience served to strengthen the bond between the two friends. While Kaleo never truly lost her lust for anarchy, Ven was able to bend her bloodlust away from the innocent and focus it on those who truly deserved it. More time passed, and after 5 years, Ven finally found a lead to his lost angel. He tracked her to a hut on Nar Shaddaa. Confident that his long quest was coming to a close, Vin rushed to free her, only to find that she had died years earlier. The Hutt who had owned her had sold Angel to a wealthy businessman who had fallen in love with her. From what Vin could tell, Angel lived a good life with the merchant until her untimely death in a tragic speeder accident. Upon learning this, Vin despaired. He had achieved his goal only to find nothing. Vin no longer had direction or focus. He felt as though his entire life had been wasted and spent weeks aimlessly wandering around the planet. He spent his days at the bottom of a bottle in a casino after casino. Eventually, Kaleo found him and brought him back to the ship and cleaned him up. She did everything she could to snap Vin out of his brooding, to no avail. Vin, for the first time in his life, felt truly lost. It was at this darkest moment that Vin received a letter from Yanaton. It read, "Husband, it has been many years, and I do not fault you if you have forgotten me, but my thoughts are ever on you. I wonder many days if you are well, and if I will see you again. I miss you. Is that odd to say? You were here for so short a time, but you were kind to me, and we shared vows of marriage. And so I miss you. If you have not forgotten me, know that my thoughts travel by your side, even if I cannot." Vin was stunned. He had seen many things in his life, most of them bad, but here, in this letter, was the purest form of affection he had ever seen. He had been gone from Yanaton for over 5 years, yet there was no anger or resentment. In this letter he saw only love. Love for a man who did not deserve it. Vin marveled at what would drive a person to feel so strongly for him even after all this time, and was touched deeply. It was that letter that gave him purpose again. He realized that he had never truly been lost. He had always had a home to return to, even if he had not realized it. He was not sure if he shared Yanaton's feelings of love, but he was determined to find out. When Vin announced his intentions, Kaleo decided not to travel with him. She claimed it would be too boring, but the truth was she felt her friend needed to start anew, without constant reminders of the past. The two friends parted ways when Vin traveled to Voss. When Vin walked into the tea house, Yanaton was sitting at a table sculpting something with clay. She looked up and her eyes widened. Vin explained that he had received her letter and had not forgotten about her. He asked if it was okay to stay here with her. With a single tear and a smile, Yanaton said, "Welcome home, my husband." That afternoon the two of them talked. They talked about everything. Vin told her what had happened the past 5 years, and Yanaton showed him her sculptures. Over time, Yanaton had earned a reputation as a talented artist, and now made money for her family by selling what she created. Those early days together were confusing for Vin. He was not sure how to act around Yanaton, and things moved slowly. Over time, however, Yanaton's constant kindness won Vin over, and the two quickly became man and wife in spirit as well as in name. Weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. Kaleo would often find one excuse or another to visit her friend, and in time she was regarded as a friend of the family even if she never stayed for long. And so, the story of Vin Lemurin comes to a close. Vin lived out the rest of his days in peace and happiness with his wife on the planet Voss. The orphan that had sacrificed so much to make the universe a better place had finally found the one thing the universe owed him more than any other. Vin Lemurin had found a home. And with that, everyone, I'd like to thank you for watching my Let's Play of the Swtor Imperial Agent. I am sorry it took so long to get this prologue out, but I was trying to find a fitting conclusion, and hopefully you felt this did the character justice. I think it did. I truly love this Let's Play. I have such a love-hate relationship with Swtor. I don't like the grinding and all the trouble you have to go through, but the stories are so fantastic, and especially if you roleplay them. I think that role-playing characters and choosing what the character would want, not just what you want, makes the story so much better. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did like Ven's story, then there are plenty of other Swtor Let's Plays. There is the Sith Warrior and Sith Inquisitor with me and Kriana, which is one of my favorite Let's Plays, because imagine this, but with Kriana to derp around with. And we're starting a Jedi Consular and a Jedi Knight story, which has one of my favorite backstories to it. So, plenty of other things to watch. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love all your support, and I love you guys, and I will see you around. Take care.